Welcome back, another episode. Masters of the Air's 6th episode begins with Bucky being pursued and captured by the Westphalia people. The show's narrator, Crosby, then comes into view as he makes his way to Oxford's Balliol College to represent the 100th in an Allied countries conference. James corrects Crosby's pronunciation in a charming cross-cultural exchange, and he keeps mimicking James until he gets it exactly. However, as soon as he opens his wife's letter, things take a grim turn. In one particular sentence, his wife refers to Bubbles, even though she is not aware of his passing. The episode shifts to Rosie and his crew as they arrive at Coombe House for a prolonged treatment session, as James struggles with the complicated emotions rumbling through his thoughts. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that to be Inglefield House. Even though everyone is ecstatic to be there, Rosie appears uneasy and can't wait to board his jet again. The woman in charge of acquainting the police with this temporary normal, Francie, tells him to just relax and trust the process, adding that she is unsure of when he will have the opportunity to do so. The serene setting is intentionally contrasted with the demanding circumstances that Bucky finds himself in. He is deliberately forced to go through a German colony that the British had bombed, along with a few other 381st survivors. Things turn violent as they start lynching the Americans, but it also provides a moment of introspection for the airmen, and those who continue to cry out for war in the name of religious superiority and patriotism. With the exception of Bucky, the Nazis take advantage of this to shoot the American airmen at point-blank range. It's a complicated moment because you should feel sympathy for the German people since they are the victims of a war that a tyrant like Adolf Hitler started. But then again, shouldn't you be sympathetic to them since it was these German citizens who put Hitler in office? Then the bodies of children are discovered, which returns the contemplation to the beginning. You're supposed to question whether these ruthless airmen deserve to be lynched when you witness them lynching the Americans. The final thought left is, to hell with fascists and fascism, after witnessing the Nazis use the mayhem to slaughter the airmen. The episode then cuts back to Bucky fleeing into the forest after jumping out of a horse carriage carrying the dead airmen, which only serves to further sharpen the irony of the situation. It begins with Bucky getting ready for therapy with Dr. Huston, a man who is obviously uncomfortable with relaxing while his friends are at war. Everything has a purpose, which makes it impactful. Bucky has questioned Ludwig Hausmann, LT. Crosby appears to be settling in at Oxford, where he is taking war-related lectures and is observed muttering jokes about the British. Afterwards, he comically gets to know subaltern Westgate, his roommate. It's funny because Crosby was enjoying himself while half-naked since he assumed his roommate would be a man. However, when he finds out it's a lady, he knows he needs to be a little more decent. That being said, it soon becomes evident that Westgate has Crosby's back as they begin moving around the college and mingling with other aviators present at the conference. There, LT, Ulrich Hausmann, yes, the incredible Louis Hoffman from Dark, interrogates him. Ulrich tries to exploit the fact that he seems to know everything about Bucky as leverage to get Bucky to provide some information about the plans that the Americans and the Allied forces have. Bucky's constant repetition of his name, title, and serial number is the reason he fails. He is thus placed in a holding cell. Louis does a terrific job in this part despite the chilly tone of the scene because of the sharp contrast between his soft voice and the character he is portraying. After waking Rosie, Francie is seen reading of mice and men beside the canal. He is content and accepts that this is necessary for him to function. By the way, Crosby, a married guy, seemed to be developing affections for Westgate. By coincidence, she receives a letter at that time requesting her to leave Oxford and most likely return to her post. It seems that Crosby returns to his headquarters at Thorpe Abbotts as well. At the Luftwaffe-run Stalag Luft III in Sagan, Bucky and Buck meet again at the conclusion of Masters of the Air Episode 6. It seems as though they are both relieved to be alive, but then a spooky feeling sets in as they realize they have no idea how they will survive. I'm not sure if this will give anything away, but if you read the biography of the real Bucky, you'll see that both he and the real Bucky survived the concentration camp. On the other hand, little is known about their experiences there. I'm not sure if the show will present a fictionalized or accurate account of the events, but it will undoubtedly be terrifying. For more, subscribe.